Welcome back to the Post Run Podcast. 6.1 miles, 9:51 pace, 1 hour in 0.07 seconds. Woo! That was tiring, but it also felt good. Yesterday, as you guys well know from watching yesterday's episode of the Post Run Podcast, my gut hurt so bad. I ate my protein stuff. I also went out at 11 something in the morning. Today I got out at 7:01, so wasn't super hot. You can see the sun right there is starting to pick itself up. My house is right there, but I'm gonna walk around a bit. So the sun was super hot. I had all my overnight oats and the protein stuff. I don't think it's just that, honestly. I do think that it's my gut. Like, I was a bit harsh yesterday. I still not a huge fan of eating protein powders, but I think I need to fix my gut first to determine whether or not I can handle it. I started writing down things that have caused issues, and I'm trying to figure out how to assess that situation. For example, I haven't written it down fully. I started writing it down because I went to church yesterday, Saturday service. But let's talk about eating for a second, right? With eating, a few issues that I'm facing. One, not eating enough, or really not eating. Two, when I do eat, I eat a lot of sugary stuff. And three, in regards to eating, I'm not fueling myself properly on the races. So I'm trying to figure out, what am I doing instead of that? So why am I not eating enough? I'm lazy in regards to making food. Okay, how can I fix that? Then in regards to eating sugar, how can I not eat sugar? And then in regards to fueling, what do I need to make myself to fuel properly? The other side to that, I guess one last thing would be, when it comes to me eating, what do I eat that helps my GI tract? Because the issues that I'm running into are like rhabdomyolysis, my GI tract, and there's a few other things that I have written down, and maybe I'll go ahead and make a video of it and assess what I'm gonna do. But with all of those problems, I dialed down what's the actual problem behind rhabdo is eating and hydration, fatigue, not sleeping enough, not eating enough. So I put down all the issues that I'm having. I dialed those down. Then I'm asking what I'm not doing. What do I need to be doing? Why am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Why am I doing what I am doing? And then I'm trying to figure out, how do I make the thing that I'm not supposed to be doing harder to do? So example for like eating sugar, how do I make that harder? Well, I make that harder by making sure I don't surround myself with sugar in my house. Obviously, like, a lot of this stuff comes down to know and if my why is great enough, but reading Atomic Habits like a while back, I realized, especially reading that book, that like Olympic level athletes and all of these people, it's not necessarily that they have greater discipline. It's that they understand that discipline is a muscle, or at least from studies, they found out that discipline is like a muscle. And so you only have like a certain amount of reps and weight that you can do a day. And when something becomes a habit, it becomes less weight. Like, it's just easier for you to pick that thing up and do it because you're just used to doing it. Like, you don't have to put a lot into your mind. But when something's easy for you, because it's so easy and it's a habit, you just do it instinctually. And so I need to figure out how to make the easy things, and by easy things I mean the things that I'm doing easy that are not good for me. How do I make the easy things harder, and how do I make the hard things, not eating sugar, or no, that was not eating, yeah, I guess not eating sugar, but how do I make eating sugar harder? And how do I make eating healthier foods easier? Is it that like yesterday, I think I said it or made a video on it of like, I was looking around the house for food and I was like, what do I eat? What do I eat? What do I eat? There's nothing here. I don't think I'm good at, and then I was like, oh, I made the oatmeal. I can go to the fridge and do that. I made the hard thing, trying to figure out what to eat and then use the energy to make it and eat it. I made that easier because it was there, and it made it so that I didn't not eat. Now today, because I had such a huge issue with my GI tract yesterday, I didn't end up eating before this run, and I'm feeling that, and I might go ahead and go and eat that oatmeal. I don't know if that's super great for me, but I have one last one. I need to put some stuff into my stomach, but I need to figure out things that are easier on my GI tract, and that means experimenting more, so that I eat more, so that I feel the fuel during the race or during my runs and stuff like that. So there's a few problems that I have. I need to figure out how to make the things that I'm doing that are bad for me, how do I make those harder? I think the best example, I talked with my dad yesterday, is like the TV, sleep, right? I need to go to bed at X time. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to go to sleep. Why am I not going to sleep? Because I'm watching TV. Okay, how do I make watching TV when I'm laying in my bed harder? And how do I make going to sleep easier? Well, I make going to sleep easier by making it, this is like one of the things where it kind of coincides, but I make going to sleep easier by making watching TV harder. How do I make watching TV harder? Because you could say it's easy as just like turn off the TV, but it's like I'm watching a show and I don't want to turn it off. Okay, maybe I set a timer on my TV where it turns off at 10 o'clock. Oh, okay. That's now I have to get up out of my bed and go over to the TV and switch that, or I press something on the remote. Pressing something on the remote, I do it and it becomes easier. Okay, how do I make that more difficult? Maybe I buy a little thing that I plug into my TV that turns off the power. Like it's like an outlet thing that turns off the power past 10. So my TV doesn't have any power after 10. I have to get up and go and unplug the thing and then plug in the TV. And when I'm laying in my bed and I'm exhausted and I'm like, all right, let me get up to go unplug the thing to plug in the thing. Why is this even here in the first place? This is here so that I get to sleep on time. You know what? Why don't I just close my eyes and go to sleep? Because that was the intention or the purpose behind it. It's trying to make those things more difficult. I know you might say like, oh, that's like way harder than just not doing it. But clearly just not doing it isn't working, and just not doing it doesn't work in a lot of people's lives. But if I can make it habitual where the TV turns off at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever the time is, and then I go to bed, then when it comes down to like normal time, when I'm somewhere else or something like that, I will just go to bed, most likely for the most part. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to every rule and there's got to be things that you go over, but right now, like, I need to be kind of harsh and strict on myself. I think another really great thing that I was literally thinking about all this stuff because my coach sent me a message, and ironically right before that I thought like I only have 3 months till I'm going to be racing, really. And I'm not even close to dialed in. I'm not taking this anywhere close to serious enough. I'm almost kind of killing myself every run that I do because I'm under fueling on a daily basis, and then I'm exerting my body to the point of exhaustion, and then I'm wondering why I'm crashing when I talk about these things that I need to do, but I'm not really figuring out why I'm not doing them, even though I know it, but I'm not putting anything to make those why I'm not doing it harder and doing anything to make the thing easier. And ironically, going to church last night was almost like the perfect thing, because as I'm thinking about I only have 3 months, and then I read my coach's message who I'm actually supposed to be talking to Becca today about this. And then I go to church, and literally what I was thinking in my head was like, before church, is I've got to learn how to start saying no to things, because people think saying no to things is limited. But like, I think it was Tim Ferriss or somebody else that I was listening to, and they're like, you've got to realize the opportunity cost. And it's not that you're saying no to something, it's every time you say no to something, people think that they're letting down an opportunity, but really every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And what I mean by this is, every time I say no to going to bed at the time that I'm supposed to, and by the time I'm supposed to, whatever it is that allocates me 8 hours of sleep that I can stay on consistently, every time I say no to that and decide to watch 30 more minutes, or rather, every time I say yes to another episode of watching the Superman show that I'm watching right now, is me saying no to my body feeling good, or to my rest accumulating for my workout the next day. And every time I say, I don't know if I'm communicating this super effectively, but every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. And every time that you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So I guess sugar might be the best thing. Every time I say yes to something that has sugar in it, I'm saying no to my GI tract feeling good. And every time I say no to sugar, I'm saying yes to my GI tract feeling good. I don't know if I just said the same thing twice because my brain right now, but that's just some of my thoughts. Maybe I'll make a video breaking down what I did, the questions that I wrote out. I think another really big thing is your why. And I was talking to Jed and Vince, who are two friends of mine. Jed was a friend of mine. Vince is one of his close friends. He introduced me to them. I introduced them to CJ, who trained me for the Ironman. And they're going to do an Ironman in 2 weekends, and I have no doubt that they're going to become Ironman. They literally just did like a half Ironman yesterday. I know that they're questioning it, and they'll probably have nerves and anxiety, but I'm hoping to be able to show up and support them the way that people showed up, like my mom and my best friend. And my coach wasn't able to show up the day of, but he showed up every single day and supported me. But I think it's great to have some people out there, so I'm hoping to be able to show up, crash on their couch, maybe do one of my runs out there while everybody's doing the Ironman stuff. And yeah, they're going to become Ironman, which is awesome. They said no to a lot of things this year, which allowed them to say yes to the discipline and to the things that they needed to do to become an Ironman. It's a lot of no's to going places, doing things, staying out late, so that you can say yes to yourself and achieve the goal that you want to achieve. And I was talking about why with them, and one of the biggest things, like, there was a few whys for me. There's a few like mantras that I said in my head for completing the race. One of them was fear, and I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I was afraid. I don't think I've ever like talking about my full Ironman experience, and maybe I'll do a video on that, but it's so surreal, like the way that I felt during that race. There were so many things that like were gonna stop me, and honestly I believe that part of the reason why one of like the signals or touch points from God that like has made me come back and started reading the Bible and doing the things that I'm doing was during that race, mile 53 of the bike ride. So, but a few things for me. One was fear of posting every day for a year and then not finishing it, especially when it was like on the swim or then on the bike when I was so close to the run. That is like fear that was holding me back. So that was one of the reasons. Not saying that's a great reason, but it was one of them. The other reason was because I told myself I was going to do it. That was a reason that I know that's not like a huge reason, but like because I showed up every day for myself, I told myself, you did it when you were tired, you did it when you're sick, you did it when you were hurt, you did it when you were sad, you did it when you were depressed, you did it when it was raining, you did it when it was sunning, you did it when you didn't want to do it, you did it before and you'll do it again. So that was one of the things in my head. The other thing was like listening to David Goggins and some other ultra runners that I listened to, them talking about the pain or the hurt or the thing that they felt. I'm not masochistic. I don't think that like I want to put myself into pain, but I want to see myself go through the other end of pain for a purpose. And for me, the purpose is to like push my body to the limits and almost become superhero-like in the extent of how I'm able to get through things. And I mean, the Iron Man, I was able to get through things because of him, because of God, Jesus. The pain that I felt, they knew that it was for a purpose, and he helped push me through that. But I say all that to say that, like, I told myself that you're happy when you're hurting, because this is what you wanted. You want it to hurt. Not you want it to hurt in a masochistic type of way, but you wanted to push your body to the point where it hurt. There was pain. Not anything life-ending or life-altering. Maybe it could have been, but you wanted to get yourself where you push yourself to a capacity where you felt hurt and see what you can do. See if you can get through it. See if you can test yourself mentally and push yourself to that next limit. So just some things. I think I need to figure out a bigger why and assess and reevaluate everything that I'm doing. So I'm just sharing some of that with you in this episode of the Post Run Podcast. Maybe I'll share more when I go ahead and decipher it, the questions that I ask myself, the process that I go through. So be who you want to become until you become who you want to be. And I will see you guys in the next episode of the Post Run Podcast.